beer lovers, welcome to another episode. I'm Justin.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jacob.
And today we are in Torrence, California at Absolution Brewing Company. Now, I've tried their beers before. I know Jacob hasn't. Justin, you've tried them, right?
I have.
So this place is one of those breweries that I've been longing to visit, so I'm super glad that we're here today.
I've been to my share of breweries around warehouse areas, but I must say this is probably one of the nicest looking warehouse breweries that I've seen from the outside, so I can't wait to get inside and check it out. Are you guys ready?
Let's have some beer.
Alright guys, so what does science, physics, quantum physics, and a background in England have to do with this place? Get ready, because here comes today's history lesson. So let's talk about the CEO of Absolution. His name is Nigel Heath. He has a background in quantum physics. I mean, mind-blowing as that is, what does he do when he comes to California in 1994? He starts to get involved into beer. And he opens Absolution just a few years ago, and this place blows up. As I'm sure many of you know, Absolution has become one of the South Bay's premier breweries, and everything is known for Absolution for knowing two things: old world style recipes with new world ingredients, and they come together in this amazing harmonious convergence, and the result is an absolutely amazing beers that people have been raving about from LA to North America to the world. Alright guys, so enough blabbing from me, let's have some beer. Alright guys, so first up here at Absolution is the South Bay Blonde. 5.2%, your classic blonde, your beach beer, your drinkable beer, and just good, crisp, golden deliciousness. This is the perfect way to start, guys. Cheers. If this is a prelude of what's to come, hang on to your hats, because Absolution has some great stuff on hand. It's honey, it's bready, it's just perfectly carbonated. You get that good malt presence, but it's so drinkable, so refreshing. This is the kind of beer you want to have at the beach. We're in the South Bay. You want to go to the beach and just drink beers nonstop. This is one you can do all day long. Forget all those big beers, your ones you find at the grocery store. This is where it's all about. And this is an amazing start. Well done, guys.
All right, so up next I have Purgatory, a Bavarian Hefe at 5%. And I gotta say, this is looking absolutely lovely, just a nice bright golden yellow color. It smells great without being overwhelming. It's got just a pleasant aroma that doesn't just overwhelm you. It smells just absolutely great. Like I said, it doesn't, like punch you in the face. So let's get into this. Cheers. Oh yeah, that's lovely. It goes right with the aroma. It's got that nice banana and clove on the palate without being overwhelming, without just pouring over, without being just like overripe banana. It's just right in the zone. For me, this is something that, this is right in that like niche of Bavarian Hefeweizens that I want to have. It doesn't overwhelm you. It's not too overpowering. That's kind of my thing is, I've had plenty of Hefeweizens that are really delicious and they have that banana and clove, but sometimes they can overdo it. For me, just where my palate is, I'm kind of like, let's take a step back a little bit. Let's have those accents, but let them be accents and not necessarily the driving force of it. The driving force of this beer is really light, refreshing, drinkability. It doesn't feel like I'm gonna get bloated when I drink this. It doesn't feel like I can only have one. It feels like I can have this all afternoon. And to me, that's what Hefes are all about. It's something that you're going to have more of. So I can easily have more of Absolution. Absolve me of my sins, please.
All right, guys. The next beer up is called the Convert. This is a 6.2% California common beer. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, if you've ever had Anchor Steam, their steam beer, that is a California common. Apparently they copyrighted the term steam beer. Had no idea. So if you ever see California common, you've tried a steam beer from Anchor, that's basically what it is. The cool thing about this, we just found out that they use natural airborne yeast to brew this beer. It sounds really exciting, and 6.2%. Holy crap, I'm excited. All right, guys, let's dig in. Cheers. Oh. Wow. This thing has got a lot of body to it, but it's still really light, super refreshing. As soon as you swallow, it's like you get a ton of flavor and then it's gone. This is a type of beer where you're gonna want to drink a lot of it, simply because it's got the flavor, but it doesn't stick with you. You have to keep drinking it to get it. Oh, it's rich malts too. You know, something really cool about this beer, I don't know if you noticed, but I got some bottles right next to me. Absolution actually distributes this in bottles. I haven't seen this particular 6-pack in my local stores, but I might have to go hunt them out because this is killer.
All right, guys, so I have here the Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a 6.9% Imperial Pilsner. Yes, you heard that right, an Imperial Pilsner. And, I mean, it's pretty golden. It looks delicious. I can't wait to try this, guys. Enough talking, let's drink. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm speechless. I really am. I don't know what to say about this beer other than wow. Damn.
So Justin, we have something we'd like to say. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango?
Thunderbolts of lightning, very, very frightening thing. Okay, but enough about that. This is fucking amazing, guys. You guys, an Imperial Pilsner, I don't know what you would expect from this, but it has so many complex flavors to it, but you still get that bready, that refreshing flavor to it, and it finishes pretty clean. It is so good. 7%, at almost 7%, you wouldn't expect this to finish that clean or be that not as boozy, but it is just so good. It could be a 4%, and I would believe you. It is that good, that delicious, and I want to just sing, you know, Queen songs all night long if I have three or four more of these.
All right, so now I'm getting really into my wheelhouse. This is a Belgian Saison called Trespasser at 6.7%. And apparently, as we were let known by the owner, they also make a strawberry version of this Saison that has become so popular that members of the community will come in and help them destem the strawberries to make the strawberry version. And to me, that's what else says drink local than actually having your customers and local people come in and help process the fruit. To me, that's just awesome. I love that. I love those stories. That's all about what microbreweries should be. They should be part of the community. So I can't wait to drink this Belgian style Saison because I love Saisons and this has such a great story to it. So cheers. That's really crisp. It's got a nice kind of like crackeriness to it, which I'm all about that. I love tasting the grain bill. I love when it's got this kind of grainy, crackery quality like bread. This definitely has that. It's not Belgian in that way of like super fruity. It's not really estery forward. It's actually pretty crackery, and I'm really into that. It's very crisp and clean. It's refreshing. It's light, but not too light. It doesn't step into being too heavy, but it's kind kind of like that medium bodied. It's really like medium. I'm really curious to see what the strawberries actually do to this. Apparently they add a lot more tart than sweetness to this. So I kind of like the idea of like crisp but also tart. So yeah, I can see why this became so popular.
So the next beer up is an Irish red ale. This is called Cardinal Sin. It's 5.7%. And as soon as I saw this on the tap list, I said, damn, John, you're missing out. You love your red ales, and you're not here at a brewery that has an Irish red ale, man. Anyways, I'm gonna drink this in John's honor. And you know, I love red ales too. So I'm down to get down. So let's be sinful, shall we? Cheers. Wow. Oh, maybe. I think John would really like this. I obviously really like this. This is definitely a malty red ale. This is all malt. Sometimes you get a lot of red ales where the hops kind of take over the show. They kind of take the limelight. This is strictly malt, and the malts that are in here are so rich. I feel like this beer tastes like it was brewed yesterday. It's just so fresh. Those malts are so rich. You get a ton of toffee, ton of caramel. It's sweet, it's robust, it's got a ton of body to it. And because I don't feel a huge hop presence in this, but because of that, it's got a really crisp finish. Oh my God. Uh-oh. I think this might be my favorite beer so far. Here's one thing that I'm noticing about Absolution, and it may just be because we're starting light and getting a little bit more heavy as we go along, but this thing has got one of the cleanest finishes of a red ale I've ever had. Oh my Lord. Yeah, well, you know what? Sucks to suck, John. You missed out. Cheers, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have shifted to IPA territory. That's right. The first IPA up today is called Little Angel. It is a session IPA at 5.2%. And you know, one thing that I noticed as soon as this was poured is the extremely cloudiness to it. Super cloudy. I don't know if it would be defined as a hazy beer. It is brewed with oats, I was told. I'm curious about the yeast strain, but what I will tell you is as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to review this one. Sorry, guys. So here we go, 5.2. Cheers. Wow. You know, you add oats to a beer to create a softer mouthfeel for the most part. At 5.2%, a session beer is usually going to be already pretty mellow, but the oats really just add such a pillowy, such a gentle mouthfeel to this. The bitterness is there, but it's not shouting at you. It's not super loud. Shit, I gotta save some for you guys too. It's got a little bit of bitterness on the finish, but again, this is another really clean beer. The aroma, you're getting the hop presence off of it. I will point out, this is supposed to be the little brother of the 405, which you guys will see in a second. Here's what I would tell you. You guys got to come to Absolution if you get a chance. And if you do come here and you know you want to be here for a while, this is 5.2%. This is probably going to be one of the most drinkable beers if you're an IPA fan that you can have here. I kind of don't want to share this beer with Justin and Jacob. So, sorry guys.
Hand it over. All right, guys, so we've reached the dreaded, or hopefully beloved, 405. So this thing is the IPA that they are known for. 7.5%, 89 IBUs. It is made with Columbus, Mosaic, Falconer's Flight, Liberty, and finished with Citra hops. Now, with those 5 hops, I'm expecting something good. It's not just a traffic jam of hops. Hopefully it's a traffic jam of flavor as well. Guys, you guys ready? Let's do it. Cheers. Oh, wow. It's official, there's a SIG alert on the 405 and the flavor jam is in my mouth because this thing is delicious. It is amazing, guys. I don't know what all those hop flavors are bringing to the party, but this thing is just packed with flavor. You're getting so much just good hop flavor, a little bit of bitterness. The malt presence is there. The thing smells, it doesn't have a great aroma to it, but who cares? You're tasting all these great hop flavors. The malt presence is there. And at 7.5%, it gives you the body and the weight that you want from a great IPA. Guys, this is the 405 that you want to be stuck on. Forget, waiting in line in that SIG alert. This is what you want to come home to and enjoy this traffic jam. Cheers.
Not an IPA fan? Well, think again. Guess what? The next beer up is called Angel's Demise. This is an English IPA. It is 7.2%, and it's made with 100% Maris Otter. Now, I brewed with Maris Otter before, and I love it. And I gotta tell you, this is it looks like another unfiltered IPA. Now, we were told by Nigel that they get a lot of females that come in and aren't IPA fans, and they want something that's delicious. Well, you've had American IPAs, I'm sure, West Coast style IPAs, New England IPAs. This is an English take on an IPA. I am super excited to try this. I've actually seen these bottles in shops before, and I've wanted to try it, so it's time. It's time. Let's dig in, guys. Cheers. Uh-oh. I honestly don't know if this was a big enough pour. Sorry, guys. Sorry, it's so good. So good. Guys, so one of the things that brought us here to Absolution is because they have old world style malts with like a new world style presence. This is an IPA with just such a rich malt presence to it. That Maris Otter is just dancing on your tongue the entire time. It's got a beautiful hop bitterness that stays with you from start to finish. It's not resinous, but it is definitely on my tongue even still. But God, it's like beer candy. If you like candy, here's beer candy. Nice to meet you. So now I understand why Nigel was talking about the fact that people that maybe are anti-IPA might really like this. This is a great introductory beer for somebody who, maybe isn't a fan of bitter beers. They like something more on the sweet side, but you want to pull them into the dark side of IPA life. This is it right here. I feel real bad for Justin Jacob because, no, I'll save it for them. They're nice guys. I'll save it for them. But yeah. All
right, guys, this is going to be something really, really good. This is the Fallen Archangel, an Imperial English IPA, 10.2% IPA. 10.2% ABV, 78 IBUs. This thing is done with Centennial and Palisade hops and dry hopped with Simcoe. This thing is the owner Nigel's favorite beer, and I can't wait to try this, guys, because if it's anything like the Angel's Demise, I'm in for such a treat. Cheers. Just smelling this thing, malty like the Angel's Demise. Here we go, guys. I'm not joking, guys. I'm really speechless. This thing is amazing. As much as I love the 405, as much as I loved the Angel's Demise. This thing just turns everything up to 11. It is hoppy, it's malty, it's a little bit boozy, but it's not 10.8. It's not the ABV that's specified. It's like 6, 7 if I would to estimate it. This thing is delicious. It's just perfect. Nigel, what are you doing to me? This is black magic. This is just crazy, man. You crazy man.
All right, you know it's getting serious when we get to 11% beers. This is the Wicked, a triple IPA that not only is 11%, but it also has 11 hops. I'm not going to try to remember all 11, so you're going to have to look that up yourself. And I'm definitely not going to remember all 11 after I drink this beer. So, you know, the night is definitely starting to get late. So cheers. All right, so this is 101 IBUs. Honestly, it doesn't taste that bitter. It's also not overwhelmingly sweet like some American triple IPAs tend to be. This definitely seems like it's got its roots in English IPA. I don't know exactly what the malt bill is. I know for a fact it's not just Maris Otter like some of the other IPAs we had were, but it definitely feels like it's a bit more of a transplant to America as opposed to a native son. And I think, honestly, that's probably a better fit for the triple IPA category because I've had way too many American triple IPAs that are just way too sweet and just too much, too over the top. This honestly does not drink like 11%. You can tell it's big and robust, but not like 11% strong ale. I'm gonna be starting to be horizontal after I drink this.
Who out there is a Grateful Dead fan? If you are, guess what? This beer is called Grateful Red. It is a Imperial Red Ale, and it is 11.3%. It is going to be a monster of a beer. Again, John, you missed out. You love red ales, and this is your spot, man. Regardless, I am super stoked to try this. This has got another unfiltered look to it. It's like a hazy red ale for all you haze bros. Try unfiltered beers, that's what this is. Nigel, the owner here, the head brewer, he prides himself on just keeping natural. So let's dig in, let's see how it tastes. Cheers. Oh, man. This is one of those beers, 11.3%. It does not taste like 11.3%. It has got a fantastic malt presence. If you're a fan of those red malts, those rich malts, those toasted malts, this is roasty, toasty, delicious. The hop presence is just fantastic. I mean, I can't imagine this getting any better than it already is. I mean, can it?
Well, Jeff, have you had the barrel-aged version of this bad boy?
What? They have a barrel-aged version? No way.
So this is Grateful Redemption, the barrel-aged version of the red ale that Jeff had, in bourbon barrels, of course, also at 11.3%. And I gotta say, you still get a lot of the base red ale, but you get this nice woody character. And actually, you don't get too much of the bourbon sweetness, but you do get a lot of like barrel character. And I really like that. I'm kind of gonna have to.
Yeah, compare and contrast.
Yeah.
One time you've been to churches on the back.
Yeah, there's definitely some strong oaky characteristics to this. I get a little. Is it bourbon barrel?
I thought it was bourbon, but I'm mainly just getting the oak and the wood.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some whiskey characteristics to this beer as well. And you know what's nice is, you know, when they mix a beer with whiskey or bourbon or some other kind of alcohol, A lot of times it kind of steals the show. The nice thing about this beer is the malts are already so robust, and the hops are already so robust, that the actual barrel aging, it just kind of blends really well.
Yeah. And
that's 11.3%, dude.
11.3%.
Oh my god.
And I think, like I said before, it's not so much of that bourbon sweetness, it's more of that oak and the wood, and you get a little bit of like whiskey character, but it's not overwhelming. You still very much know that this is a big red ale, and it's not just pure like alcohol, liquor backing this up. It's beer. It's very much beer first, bourbon barrel second. And honestly, that's nice to have, because otherwise they all start tasting like the same bourbon barrel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is nice.
All right, guys. So next up, Padre Bravo, 5.2%, 32 IBUs. It is a brown ale. It's an American brown ale, and it is on nitro. So brown ale, nitro, nutty, caramel, a lot of great things there. And Absolution, if it's anything like any of the ones we've had before, guys, you know this is going to be a home run. Cheers. You can smell the nuttiness right on the aroma, just sticking your nose into the glass. I can't wait. You know, as much as he wants to make fun of me for it, he can let him, because I'm enjoying this beer all day long. The nitro gives a nice smooth texture to your tongue, to the mouthfeel of it, and then you get caramel, you get nuts, you get everything you want in a great brown ale. It's drinkable, it's nutty, and then it just, you know, floats away, it tingles away into the ether. It is probably one of the perfect relaxing beers if you like malty, rich, chocolatey, nutty, caramelly goodness. You can't get much better than this. Really, I mean, I can't think of anything. Can you?
Well, guys, guess what? If you like being fancy, this was voted on Fortune Magazine's must-buy beer list. This is called Holy Cacao. This is a milk stout. It is 5.6%, and let me tell you, after trying all those IPAs and Imperial Reds, I'm ready to kind of settle down a little bit. And this beer is an award winner. It's won multiple awards, and then as I said earlier, Fortune Magazine. I mean, this is an award-winning beer, so I'm ready for a treat. Let's dig in. Cheers. Let me tell you something. If you haven't tried a milk stout before, if you're not lactose intolerant, you really need to try milk stouts. Man, the lactose just does wonders with this beer. It just creates that smooth, creamy, milky mouthfeel. The roasted chocolate malts in this is just so good. It's not overpowering. And then on top of that, like, this is not like a artificial beer. Like, I've had quite a few milk stouts before, and they kind of taste a little on the fake side, like they taste like a dessert beer, like they've been injected with a little bit too much sweetness. This is a good, just milky, chocolatey, refreshing beer.
All right, guys, so I've been waiting almost this entire time for this beer. This is Padre Bravo, but on cask, with cascara, which is the skin of the coffee bean cherry. And now, the reason why I've been waiting for this whole time for it is, one, because I'm excited for it, but two, because cask ales typically are drunk warm, room temp. Now, they serve their cask ales here at Absolution a little bit on the colder side, just because, I mean, let's face it, most of us in America are kind of shell-shocked to warm cask beer. So they kind of had it a little bit colder just to sort of ease you into the idea of cask. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go full in. Let's make sure I drink this warm, a proper cask ale. You know, a real ale. So, bottoms up. I can't wait to really get into this. I'm excited. Yeah, it's not warm, but it's way warmer than any of the other. It's way warmer than any of the other cold box beers that we've been drinking. It's got just a great rocky, frothy head going on. It's light bodied, it's smooth, but it has this nice, like really bitter dark chocolate, kind of really roasty finish that I really enjoy. That I think when I tried regular Padre Bravo, it was just a little bit too light. It just lacked something. To me, adding the cascara gives it that extra oomph. I really like this. Like I said, cask beer isn't for everyone, especially if you're like most Americans. You're used to having your beer colder. I mean, that's nothing wrong with that. It's just, that's what we've been used to. It's how we are. That's how we grew up. But over in England and the UK, pub ales are pretty warm, and they're on cask. And honestly, I like them. I enjoy them. I think they're delicious, and I say try something different. Put yourself out there, try a cask ale. Come to Absolution, try a cask ale.
All right, guys, so I have here my final beer. It's called the Wandering Star. 9.5%, 66 IBUs, bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout. And this thing has been called probably one of the best beers Absolution has ever done. So, I'm so lucky. Cheers. There have been so many good beers here at Absolution, guys. I don't know what to tell you other than this is probably one of the best, if not the best. If you're a barrel-aged fan, if you're a bourbon barrel-aged fan, if you're a fan of dark beers, if you're a fan of beer in general, this has to be one of the best beers that I've ever had. It's rich, it's complex. You get the bourbon barrel age, you get the vanilla from the wood barrels. The stout, you get that roasty, chocolatey goodness. It smells just like the inside of a bourbon barrel, and the taste is just beyond complex, beyond amazing, and wow. I know the guys are going to be absolutely blown out by this. Jacob's going to be, worshiping this bottle after he's done. But I'm really glad I got to try this, guys. I'm really glad that I got to try any of the beers here at Absolution. And if you guys are lucky, get down here and try everything that they got, because you will not be let down by all the great beers that they have here.
So, I was basically forced to try this beer from Jeff, because apparently this is one of his favorites of last year that he'd had. This is ADJD, which is a bourbon barrel aged IPA. Now, the IPA base is AD, Angel's Demise, which is the English IPA, which is also made with 100% Maris Otter, which 100% Maris Otter beer aged in a whiskey barrel for 10 months sounds suspiciously like another kind of beer style that happens to provide life for all of us on Earth. I'm just saying, maybe this is a little bit leaning towards a different kind of style. We'll find out. I've never had this beer before, so cheers. All right. Wow. That's got a lot going on. It's not really bitter like an IPA. It does have that kind of sweetness from a bourbon barrel. An unknown JD bourbon. Could be anything. I don't know. It's got a nice woody character. It's got a nice just malt backbone. It's really easy to drink, considering what's that? Yeah. Oh yeah, 7.2. Okay, so it's not too crazy out there. That explains why it's so easy to drink. Yeah, 7.2. Even with that like wood character, it's nice. This is good. I can understand why Jeff would kind of made me drink this. This is Yeah, I would recommend this. So the bombers of this guy are $12. I honestly think those $12 is absolutely worth a bomber of this guy. It's easily a steal. I would recommend buying this guy. It definitely, you do have to like barrel-aged beers. Don't think of this as a typical IPA. It's definitely not. If you liked regular Angel's Demise, the English IPA that they had, if you like that style of beer, you're gonna like this one. It adds a nice oaky, kind of a little bit tannic and dry finish. And honestly, like I said, if you like the regular one, you're gonna like this guy. So, cheers.
All right, guys, so we've done all the beers here at Absolution. It's time to choose our favorites. And Jacob, you're the lucky number one.
Honestly, this was really difficult for me because Absolution, right now, their board is all over the place in terms of style. They have a really great California Common Steam Ale that I really enjoy. Yep. They had a great No Coast IPA, which is basically, it was a juicy like an East Coast, but also kind of bitter and hop forward like West Coast. I thought that was great. They had some great stouts. There was really just some great barrel-aged things, and it was so hard to really pinpoint what would I want to have another of, because I wanted to have another of a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the way we all feel.
Yeah.
It was definitely a battle between 2 or 3 different beers. But in the end, honestly, I wanted to showcase the Cask Ale, the brown ale in cask with cascara. I thought it was really unique. It was interesting, it was bitter, but it was also very light, and honestly, people don't drink cask ale enough, so I felt like I was kind of betraying a certain weird beer geek in me not to highlight cask ale. So, cascara, yeah, Padre.
Well done.
Nice.
Jeff, what was yours?
Man, guys, the reason why we came here is because I've had a few beers from Absolution, and I absolutely love them. A friend of mine introduced me to this beer quite a while back, about a year ago, I think, about a year ago. And I fell in love with it. And I didn't review it today myself because I've already had it. I made Jacob try it because I knew it would be right up his alley. And the beer that I chose was ADJD. This thing is just, It feels like sometimes when life sucks and you feel like the odds are against you, you start drinking this beer and you just understand that like everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. And yeah, that's this beer in a glass. I will tell you, all the beers we tried today were friggin' phenomenal. So many good different styles, so many unique takes on traditional beers. The one thing I'll point out when it comes to Absolution is they are unfiltering their beers and they're really focusing on the malts. This is OG, old style, old world style brewery, and you can tell just how good it is by trying their beers. Justin, what about you?
All right, so when you go to a brewery and you take a look up at the board and you look at all the beers that they have on top and you're like, shoot, I hope I don't screw this up. And you look at the board at Absolution and you're like, wow, I hope we don't screw this up. There's so many beers on tap. The thing is, if you come here or if you go to their new location, the thing is, you guys can't screw this up. They don't have a bad beer on the list. The thing is, their beers range from the great to the possibly world-changing. The ADJD is a great example of that. The stuff they have on their cask is always amazing. But the one that I have to go with is one that that some of their own regulars have said has been the best beer they've ever done, and that's the Wandering Star. Bourbon barrel-aged stout. I mean, it's not the booziest, it's not the most flavorful, it's just the best beer they've ever done. And Jacob, being the best barrel-aged expert that we know, loved it. Jeff made like weird faces to it after he drank it. That's how you know when you have a really, really world-changing beer, and that's what the Wandering Star is.
Yeah.
It's part of their nail series, part of their new high-end limited edition beers. And if you guys can get a hold of any of these, anywhere you are, take it and run. take it and run and enjoy them, because this is some of the best stuff that you will have not only in Southern California, but in the North America and possibly the world. Or Absolution, well done. And guys, let's raise a glass to Absolution. Nigel, well done. We
Cheers,
toast
guys.
you. Cheers.
Speaking of Nigel, if you guys want to hear a little bit from him, here comes an interview. All right, guys, I'm here with Nigel Heath. He is the owner and master brewer here at Absolution. So Nigel, how did you get into craft beer?
Wow, great question. I actually fell in a fermenter. You heard about Mrs. Murphy. The priest came to see Mrs. Murphy and said, "Mrs. Murphy, I'm really sorry, but Paddy died down at the brewery today." Oh my God, what happened to Paddy? Well, he fell in the fermenter. Did he suffer? Well, he got out 3 times to pee. Okay.
Wow.
I was always a really non-talented home brewer. It was not good. And then I came to the US 24 years ago, and basically everybody was drinking yellow fizzy stuff.
Yeah.
It was terrible. No names, but we all know what they were.
Yep.
And I said to my wife, we're going to last like 2 weeks. We're going back. I mean, there was no good beer, there was no good cheese, and there was no good Indian food. And those are the 3 essentials. And thank goodness it's changed big time.
Big time.
If anybody said to me 24 years ago that American craft beer would not only be starting to dominate sales in Europe, but be brewed there, I'd said you were crazy. And that's what's happened in the last 2 decades. So always had an interest in the beers I grew up with. Lower carbonated, so you don't get that CO2 bomb in your stomach.
Yeah.
All natural, no chemicals. So every beer Absolution is water, grain, yeast, and hops. No coloring, no preservatives, no stabilizers. So always had that passion, wanted to create those beers here and drink what I used to drink as a young man, aged 21 in England. So cheers.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of which, I know you enjoy beer because every beer you poured today you were super passionate about, and we tried your beers, and it's so hard to pick a favorite here because they're all so good. So what is your favorite beer style?
Stylistically is a real hard, for me to pigeonhole. Our answer was saying my favorite beer of our 22 that we have on tap is Fallen Archangel. It's an English Imperial. For our American audience, double IPA. It's 10.2, but really smooth. Let that beer warm up. Sorry, but it can't be frozen to death. It's got to be body temperature.
Yeah.
And there are 5 distinct flavor layers. So a really complex product, which I really enjoy. So you can start drinking it when it's really cold. Enjoy the pint. 20, 30 minutes later, you suddenly go, whoa, what else am I?
It just bouquets.
It really does. Wow, can you spell bouquet on camera? Okay, yeah. Can he say that on camera? No.
Not bukkake, bouquet.
But yeah, really complex product, and really starts to develop its own unique characteristics as it warms up. 10.2 drinks like 7. But I have 3 of them and run on the beach the next morning here. So if I have to pick a single beer, that's definitely my favorite beer that we produce.
Awesome. So, while we're here, I'm a home brewer. I'm passionate about brewing. Obviously, I love craft beer. We have a lot of followers out there that brew their own beer. If you were going to give advice to a home brewer, what advice would you give?
Yeah, it's simple. Don't do it. Sorry. No, if you're gonna do it as a home brewer, fantastic. Have a blast. That's what I did for years. Commercially now, when we set up in Torrence, We were one of the very earlies. We went around all of the city councils and the mayors here, and Torrence was the only city that said we want a brew industry. But since we set up in 13, the industry, there was nobody in LA. Now there's 68,
Yeah, there's
70.
tons of them.
Yeah, so a lot of competition, which is great. Not afraid of competition. The bar's got really high in terms of the cost of entry. So you could do it on a shoestring before, but you really can't now. So a lot of competition, not just from other brewers, because it's still a fraternity, which is great.
Yeah.
But the distributors control the market. Without getting into a lot of politics, on camera here.
Do you feel like your persistence, your longevity, and just your quality is what has kept you going and being successful?
Great question. If you don't have great beer, then don't stop. Right?
Yeah.
There is zero room for like a Me Too product. So if you're coming out with yet another hoppy IPA, just
you can't just recreate some hazies, right?
No.
Yeah.
The market is saturated. So you got to have an excellent product to begin with. You got to have some uniques, and then the go-to market you can self-distribute. For the first few weeks, months. Believe me, we did it. It gets exhausting very quickly, and it's not a long-term business model. It's still a fantastic industry. When my head brewer comes to me at 8 o'clock in the morning and says, "Hey boss, try this 11.5% Imperial Red Ale."
Good morning.
Then by 9:30 I need a nap. Great industry to be in. Still having a lot of fun. Great to see the takeoff of craft in the US, because 20 years ago when I came here it was a wasteland. I remember coming to a craft beer event in LA in 13 or 12, and not saying who, but a certain beer beginning with B and ending in D was at the Craft Beer Festival, and I said, "This is craft?" But thank golly it's changed.
Thank God for real craft beer, man.
All right, cheers, brother.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Good to see you all. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Seeking Absolution.
Well, guys, that's going to do it here at Absolution Brewing Company. We had such a great time. Oh my God, guys. Nigel is not only probably the coolest brewery owner / brewer I've ever met, but he's just an awesome all-around person. He's so hilarious and just, he's awesome.
Now, I love their beers here. I know you guys will love their beers. Make sure you guys are able to check them out. Check them out here in Torrance or at their new location.
And if you like our video and our past videos, please don't be afraid to like, share, subscribe to this channel. It really means a lot to us. It really goes a long way. And honestly, just tells us if you're interested or not. So we really appreciate that. So we've had a great time, and we'll see you again on
Let's Have Some Beer. Cheers.
You have been absolved.